Now let us explore some interesting tools associated with pivot tables. We have the slicers and the timeline. Firstly, what is a slicer? If I click on this pivot table, we have pivot table analyze and we have insert slicer. Now the slicer is just like a visual filter, okay? And with this, we can have multiple levels of filters on multiple columns. For example, this is the data that we have, and let's say I want, during my presentation with my client, I would like to dynamically have filters at different levels. So I say region and country, and then I have something as transaction date, and click OK. So here we have 3 slicers. And let me show you how this works. This is as good as visual filters, like I mentioned earlier. So first things first, let me just shrink this for a moment. And yes, here we have some space, all on one screen. Now first we have regions, all the regions covered here, and then we have the list of countries. And here we have the transaction date. Since we have data from July to December, these are highlighted, but we do not have anything from Jan to June. So we leave this, and let's say I want data only for Asia Pacific. Asia Pacific. So I click on Asia Pacific, and here we have the data. And you see, it has a cascading effect on other parts of the slicers as well. For example, in countries, we have only those countries that belong to Asia Pacific region, and the rest of them are not selected because they do not belong to this region. However, if I need more than one region, I can also click on Europe as well as hold down the Control key and click Asia Pacific. And now we have Asia Pacific and Europe. And we have all the countries that belong to these 2 regions, but not the rest, like Latin America, Middle East, Africa, North America. None of them are highlighted here. Now, in case if I want the data only for the last 3 months, I can just select the last 3 months like this with a drag, or I can just select any 1 month, hold down the Control, and select as many I need. So we have the data here, October, November, December. So this is like a visual filter that the slicers help you with. Let me get the data all again in one place. And let's have all the records. Here I hold down the Shift key and select all of them. And again, we have all the records selected, and based on which you have the pivot table here. That's quite a lengthy one. And this is all about the slicers. You can have filters for as many columns that you need. We have region, country, transaction date. Maybe you might want to have some more slicers. Then you can, let me pin this. You can click on Insert Slicer and have some more as well. Maybe by product category. Click OK. And I want just for FL or LED or LED and FL. We have them, right? So in case if you want to clear the filter, you can just click on this and clear filter. Well, in case if you want to remove any kind of slicer, you can just click on that slicer and delete, and it's gone. Moving on, let us also check or understand the timeline. Here, I'll bring this down over here, keep them separate for now, and let me introduce you to the timeline bar here. Now, I click on the pivot table again. We have pivot table analyze and insert timeline. Now this feature has been available since Microsoft Office 2016. So we click on this. Now the timeline feature would work if you have some dates in your data. Since all our data over here in sheet 1 have dates, and this is the reason why the timeline feature is available to us now. So you put a check mark here, click OK. And here we have a timeline bar. You can expand this and adjust the length. By default, Jan, Feb, March, April, May, June, all the way till December is selected, but we know that there is no data from Jan to June. Let's click on July. So here we have the data only for the month of July. Now let's click on June and nothing found. What if I want to select the 3 months at a shot? That's July, August, September. Here we have this, July, August, September. Now what about October, November? Here we have October, November and October, November, December, all three selected. So timeline helps make your presentation look more robust. It's an interesting visual filter again over here. You can just adjust this, and depending on the flow of your discussion when you're presenting it, you might just want to click on any of the region or that timeline and you can get the desired data. Well, in case if you want to format it or maybe beautify it, I would say you have different options here. Light, dark. Let's say I want this. Well, here we have. In case if you're not happy, we can have a dark blue or a dark green and so on. There are a lot many options available here. And same way, when you click on slicer, you do have some similar options in slicers. The way how you want this to be. Let's say I click on this. Right here, the first one is in red. The second one I would make say yellow. And third one in green. Now yellow is quite bright over here, so I might make this blue. Yes, here we have slicers of different colors as well.